Hi everyone, Émilie Bugès here, Artistic Director of Vision du Réel International Film Festival, based in Nyon, Switzerland. We just had our online edition starting 17th of April until the 4th of May, so it was a longer edition. I'm happy to respond to the question that was sent to me, starting with the first one. So the first one is about canceling and about previous streaming experiences. We did not think of canceling the edition. It was something that was kind of hard to imagine for us. First, because we feel like we have a commitment with our audience. Also, because the 50th edition, which was 2019, was very successful, very happy, very joyful, and we didn't want to somehow let our audience down. Then on the other side, we didn't want to let the filmmakers, right holders, directors down, producers as well, of course. So originally, I thought that it would be complicated to offer this programming online because indeed we are presenting a lot of world premieres, and I wasn't sure if they would agree and if they would be interested in doing such a thing. And with the time passing by, somehow with the festivals being cancelled, we thought actually maybe they would be happy for us to suggest something else. So we got in touch with them and we offered that possibility, leaving everyone, of course, the freedom to decide whether they wanted to participate or not. And a lot participated, but I will get back to that point a little later, sorry. In regard to streaming, yes, we do have experiences on that as well. We did before the edition. We've been collaborating tightly with Festival Scope, both on the professional and on the public side. We've been collaborating with Tank. We've been collaborating, of course, with Doc Alliance, DA Film, the online streaming platform of DAC Alliance, because we are a member of DAC Alliance, which is an association of 7 documentary film festivals in Europe, including, for instance, Doc Lisboa, CPH Docs, FID Marseille, or Doc Leipzig, and us as well. And also with Kinoscope. So basically we have like different partnership that allow us to stream different kind of part of the program and of the homages and retrospective each year. So this is something we were used to do, of course, but not to that extent, and not again for those new films without having a physical screening as well. In regard to the second question, as to know how many films accepted to join us. So we originally we went in steps. So we had 5 weeks to basically go online. We had 5 weeks to organize everything, which is both quite long in comparison to others and very short in order to make it cared and as precise and as secure and as thought as kind of like as conceptually thought as possible. So we first contacted all the directors taking part in the international competition. So it was 84 right holders, 84 films, and out of that 82 accepted. So basically just 2 refused, and 1 was because they couldn't finish the post-production because they were really late, and of course the labs were closed. So all of them basically accepted. Then the national competition right after that accepted as well, all of them. And then, I mean, basically we just lost a few titles, and there was one section that we gave up because it's a section that very much is based on, kind of like events and discussion, so it didn't make so much sense to kind of put it online. For sure, originally I thought we wouldn't put so many films online, and then, the thing is that when you feel that people react so positively to it, you feel like, again, you don't want to let down the other ones. So, we kind of like started with those sections, and then we were in touch with the other ones that were asking us, okay, so what's the plan? And then we were in contact with other platforms that were, kind of interested in collaborating with us for that, because we originally spoke with Festival Scope and Doc Alliance. So basically, kind of like in those 5 weeks, a lot of things happened basically, and we felt like there was more to do, so we kept adding things. So we did a lot, and was really a lot. We ended up very exhausted, all of us, but all in all, of course, we were really happy to have a lot of films available, because it was also a way to get the sense that the festival was really existing on the internet. On the in regard to the online or just hybrid, just online or hybrid, in our case it was just online. It was impossible to have anything physical at those dates because of the sanitary measures. We didn't have the right to gather more people, more than I think it was, I don't remember, but we didn't have the right to gather people, and all the cinemas were officially closed until the end of April, and they remained actually closed until June, as we all know. So it was just impossible in our case to do anything else. In regard to the audience, we had decided of 500 views for each film, because we felt like it kind of represents what average the amount of people that would watch the film in the physical festival. For us, the idea was really to somehow reproduce the physical festival as much as possible online. So we kind of like went for that number. Of course, for some films it would have been more, because we have some theaters that are bigger, but in average it did feel right. So we decided to make it free. Again, like, let's go back to when we make all the decision, which is mid-March. The thing was, there was at that moment a very large offer, like kind of like many things appearing on the internet, and offers and kind of special thing so that people confined could watch films, which is great, of course. But on our side, we were just worried because it was the first experience and because it was very early. Now we, of course, like 2 months later, we can know how things are happening, but back then we didn't know, and we wanted to make sure to give the films all the chances they deserve, because again, like, it's a lot of world premieres, and you want to make sure that those people are not gonna just like burn their world premiere online without having had people watching the films. So because we were still quite early, we were able to somehow give up some parts of the physical infrastructure, and we were able to save some money on that side, and we decided to invest this money on in the tickets that we would usually have had in our income. So it didn't change anything in our relation towards the right holders, those who we were supposed to pay fee with. We did, but we didn't. We gave up our income in terms of tickets, and we decided to have this edition. It's exceptional, of course, available for free for everybody. In terms of the amount of views, many films were sold out, indeed, quite fast, which is on one side, of course, frustrating and hard to understand for some people, because the films are available online. Why would they be sold out? But then again, it felt like also the possibility to create also an event, and to create this urgency, and to create this feeling of something is happening now and it's not happening tomorrow. So basically, like, in general, most of the films were available for a week with 500 seats. And for some others, we had a few different kind of scenarios. So the best of section was available 24 hours, and the national competition as well, because it was on another platform related to the national TV. So it was practical reasons, more easy to do it like that. So 24 hours. But in general, it's a week, and so many titles were sold out, and so people would feel like, okay, they have to hurry up to watch something else, which is, of course, also kind of like aiming to translate the feeling of the festival. Then the platform for streaming, technically speaking, worked really, really well. We were lucky because we started to speak with Festival Scope, Doc Alliance, and Tank, and at some point we thought it's going to be complicated. Actually, our audience has a very large spectrum of ages, so we have like very young audiences and we have older audiences, and we did want to make sure that we wouldn't lose those old audiences. So we did prepare a printed program, which was of course quite a challenge because we were in the middle of the kind of like the deep wave of COVID in Switzerland. We printed the program. We had it sent to households in the whole region so that some people, if they prefer, instead of going on the website, could read the program at home, pick the films they wanted. We had an hotline responding every day from 9 till 8 p.m. And also we wanted to make sure that the platform is easy and, you know, can be navigated very kind of like smoothly. So we talked to Festival Scope and we were talking about Shift 72 because we had seen that this Shift 72 solution seemed very adequate and easy to navigate. And we said, okay, are you in touch with them? How is it going on, etc. And they indeed said at some point, okay, you know, let us talk to them, let's see how it goes, and maybe we can start something with you. And that's what happened indeed. Shift 72 and Festival Scope started a collaboration, which is going to benefit, of course, many festivals, and for which we were lucky to be the first ones. So we had the chance to kind of like have everything on Shift 72, also kind of like access to the other platforms, and so it was more work because we had of course prepared everything for the rest and we had to change everything back, but in the end I think it was worth it because it was very easy to navigate indeed, and yeah, we had great feedback about that. In regard to the industry, again, I think that we were a bit lacking of realism, which is both great and a nightmare. So we somehow decided first to do that, and then we added things, and it was in the end a lot. And again, we didn't really know how much it would be and what it means technically to do all of that. So for the industry, we had many different softwares. We originally were aiming to have just one so that it's very easy for the industry, but it doesn't work simply because, for instance, our pitching it takes place in 3 stages. So there is first a public pitch, then there are some roundtables where different kind of professionals are sitting, and then the one-on-one. So we decided to pre-record the public pitches because it was too difficult in our sense for everybody to have a stable network. Of course, the time difference is a huge challenge and a huge problem because it's very hard to find moments and that suits everybody, and those moments are very short, of course. So there were people having one-on-one meetings the whole night. So we used Zoom for. Even with all the problems, it felt like the right program to use. So we used Zoom for the public, like for the gathering. Basically, everybody was gathering on Zoom. So we had, for instance, for the pitch, 200 people gathered on Zoom. Then we would send them to a page where they could watch the live pitch, and then they would be sent out in breakout rooms, also on Zoom. And then we used B Square to organize all the one-on-one meetings. Was like almost 450, I think, so quite a lot also to organize. And basically, so that's the tools. And in general, I think that it was very interesting for us to have that experience because there were many professionals that would not have attended for, you know, schedule reasons, because we're very close to Cannes, or because they live very far, because there aren't too many events taking place. So in that case, it was a chance for everybody to take part. So this is something that I hope we learn for the future and we will further use in the future. And I think that's it for the industry. And in regard to I missed one question, was the online activity for free. So yeah, I mean the film, of course, but also we had the master classes. So we created a page on our website where all the talks would take place and where you could also react as an audience. So there was a window with like the talk and underneath a small square where you could ask questions. So we had there the master classes and some talks with the directors around specific topics, and some other talks that were again organized with other organization. We also, of course, had industry talks, but those were rather closed to industry because they are actually kind of like oriented for an industry audience. And then what we did also is we pre-recorded Q&As with the directors, with some directors, not all of them. We didn't make it in 5 weeks, it was too short. But like all the feature directors, feature film director had a Q&A and pre-recorded with programmers and critics. And for all the directors, we offered the possibility to send us a carte blanche, which was meant as an intro to the film, which was meant as also a tool for us to kind of like invite people to watch films, because of course we were again very unsure how people would react to the online initiative, because they're used to be at the festival, talk about films, decide what they want to see because they heard about a film that's supposed to be great, and you lose all that. You lose all the physical communication and you lose all the exchanging. So you have to invent other digital means so that people feel like they want to watch films. So we asked the directors to prepare some short intros for the film. Some of them were just like talking about the process, and others did make really beautiful films, very poetic or very nostalgic about the situation they were currently in and the situation we were all currently in, and somehow reflecting on that and kind of like inviting people to watch the films. In terms of if things could have been done differently, I mean, with more time, I think we would have done a lot more. I think that what was missing, but what is really difficult to organize, is more exchanges between people. I think it was the case on the industry side. People were also moved when we had the closing ceremony of the industry, and said that they had very special moments because everybody's at home, and one gets in a realm that is a little more intimate, maybe a bit more private, sooner, faster than if we were sitting on a white chair in a white space. But it would have been, of course, great to find ways, both technical and in terms of human resources, because like we were really at the limits on that side, to kind of like allow for the audience and the director amongst them, and the director with us, to kind of like talk more, exchange more, talk about the film. So that's something that, I think we would have liked to do more. We couldn't because it was too short in time, but that I think would have been something interesting to be able to work on. Next year, I hope that some things will be, if we have a physical edition, which I very much hope, I hope that something can be somehow taken over, because I think it was a great occasion to learn things, of course, that we would not have been able to do in a regular moment, because we never have time to do such things because we're so busy with the festival. I think that the master classes are really interesting to be taking place online. For Claire Denis, for instance, we had 1,500 almost people for 3 hours following us. So it does feel like there is something there that is interesting and relevant to have online. Also, again, because there is this thing that, but this is not gonna happen, because Claire Denis would have been in Nyon, and it would have been lovely that she would have been in Nyon, but it was nice that she was at home, and that, again, you get this feeling of something that is more personal, more intimate, very fast, so that the discussion is different, I think. On the other side, for the industry side, I think that it's important to kind of think how we can involve people that are very far and that we cannot invite because they can't for schedule reasons, or because we don't have the budget. So that is something that we should consider as well. In regard to the films, I'm not sure. I would need more time to think. I'm sure that it's important for me to kind of like think of ways to share those films further and to kind of like commit in order for people far away in Switzerland and maybe even at other moments in the year so that they can watch the film, because otherwise, of course, it's very short and you have to come to Nyon and it's complicated, etc., etc. So I think that theoretically it would be great to find a solution for that, but I'm not sure at this point which one they should be. And then festival to discuss about. Well, yeah, I mean, like, I think that many festivals are talking. There is a group, there are different groups of people talking, exchanging. I think that this situation is creating maybe differences between festivals, which I think personally is good and okay, because not all festivals should be the same. And I think it's important to defend that, to defend the idea that festivals may have different identity, and also to defend the idea that festivals are here to create content for their audiences, but also to support filmmakers and producers and their films, to kind of like be kind of like in between, you know, those worlds. So I very much kind of like care about that, about us kind of keeping this role in the whole, let's say, audiovisual ecosystem. I think that festivals have a specific role for certain films, and that it is something that, you know, we should keep working on. For the festival that were released, for the films that were released earlier this year, I mean, it's gonna be a difficult year for sure. I hope that there will be several online initiatives. I think that there will be also, I hope that there will be hybrids in autumn, and that those films will get further chances. I think that there was no very good solution, because like, what do you do? Like, if you wait for a year for the situation to kind of get back to normal, hoping that it gets back to normal after a year, then of course you're confronted with other films that are ready. I mean, maybe less in fiction, but for sure in documentary there are still films that are being made. So I don't know. I think it's a little tricky to decide, and I think that each one should decide for themselves, and that's why in our case we decided to let everyone decide what they wanted to do. Because again, you know, it's impossible to know what's right and what's wrong. So it's really about kind of like following your needs, following your ambition, following your guts somehow about what you think is the right solution for you, and festivals should help and kind of like be as solidary as possible, because it's a situation that is difficult for everybody, and I think that it's really important that we try together to find solution for it to be as okay as possible. Well, that's long enough. I hope everybody is well there, and I hope that we will all see each other very soon somewhere in this new world that's waiting for us. Bye bye.